Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to talk about radicals and we're going to explore some properties about radicals. Not all of the properties, but the fundamentals of radicals. Well, the first thing that we are going to do is diving into this cool problem. It says, Ryan and Robert are both solving the fourth root of 16. Just so you guys know, that 4 means that I'm looking for a number that when I multiply by itself 4 times gives me 16. And then he says, the first person says, in this case Ryan, the answer is 2. Is he right? Well, let's check. Let's check if it is true. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So yeah, Ryan is actually right. But then Robert also says, well, the answer is -2. Is he right? And at this point, you might be like, how can there be 2 answers to this question? Well, let's check. Let's check. If I have -2 times -2 times -2 times -2. Well, -2 times -2 is +4 times -2 is -8 times -2 is +16. So it is 16. Both of them are right. Both of them are right. Now let's take a look at this one. It says Sarah and Mark are both solving the cube root of 64. Sarah says the answer is 4, but Mark says the answer is -4. I want you guys to try this one first before I give you the answer. So pause the video right now and see if you can get the answer correct. Well, hopefully you pause the video, and if you check by doing 4 times 4 times 4, well, if you put this in the calculator, in case you don't know how to multiply very fast, this is actually 64. So Sarah is right. But when you get -4 times -4 times -4, well, that's actually equal to -64, because negative times a negative is a positive times a negative is a negative. So Mark is actually incorrect. And that is going to lead me to this next section. That sometimes a root has 0 solutions, 1 solution, or 2 solutions. 1, 0, 1, or 2 solutions. And what I want you to do right now is take a time to write down these rules. You can write it behind the paper or wherever you want. If you're not taking my class right now, you can actually write this anywhere you want. But this can make it very easy for you to check your answers and see if you are correct. So the first rule is that if your index is even and your radicand is positive, then you have 2 solutions. And an example of that is this. If I do the square root of 4, then that gives me plus or minus 2, because positive 2 times 2 is 4, but -2 times -2 is also 4. Well, rule number 2 says something else. It says if I have an even index plus a negative radicand, then I'm not going to have any solutions. Because if I think about this, right, now I have the square root of -4. Well, is there any number that I can multiply by itself 2 times that will give me -4? And the answer is no. Once you get to algebra 2, you will actually learn that the square root of -1, we say that it's I. So if I do the square root of -4, that's actually the square root of -1 times the square root of 4, which is I, or 2I, 2 times I. And that is my answer. Now, the third rule that we have is, it says that if I have an odd index and my radicand, remember that the radicand is a number inside the radical, and the radicand is negative, then you have one answer. So what I want you to do now is, after you have written these rules, I want you to go through each of these problems, and the first thing that you're going to do is identify the number of solutions that you're going to have. Even before you solve them, you should be able to identify the number of solutions when you get something like this. So try it, and I will give you the answers just right now. So pause the video right now, and you will have the answers in just a little bit. So hopefully you pause the video, and I want to share the solutions with you. Here they are. Take a look at them. Please comment your questions below so I can go over them in class if you have any. And yeah, let me know if there's anything that I can help you with on the comments below. Funny thing is that a lot of students get very confused when they're trying to find the square root of, or the fourth root of 0. They get very confused with that. Well, the square root of 0 is just 0. 0 times any number will give you 0. Or 0 multiplied by itself many times is 0. So whether the index is positive or negative, your answer will always be 0 for that one. Okay, let's go into the next part, and we are about to finish with this section. There are a few other problems here. And I want you to think about this answer before I give it to you. Think about the answer to this question. It says, why does an even root have a plus or minus answer, but an odd root does not? The answer for that is this. I'm not going to give you any examples, but hopefully you thought about something like this, because even roots or even index, they have a plus or minus answer, because when you multiply the numbers together, the negative pair become positive. And that goes back to something that we talked about in class, and that was something like this. I told you that if you have 2 raised to any power, right? Sorry, let me use a negative exponent. So if you have a negative 2 raised to the first power, that will give you negative 2. It gives you a negative number. But if you have a negative 2 raised to the second power, then that will give you positive. And let me do this very quickly. That's equal to positive 16. So you can see a pattern that if your exponent is positive, then you get an even number. So that's like one of the reasons. Let me write this down. So 2 squared. This is not equal to 2 to the first power. This is not equal to 2 to the third power, but this is actually equal to 2 to the fourth power. So you can see how 2 to the fourth power is the same thing as negative 2 to the fourth power. Hopefully that is making a little bit of sense. it is very important that you understand this part to know how the square root works. Now here are a few other problems. Again, try to identify whether you have one, two, or no solutions before you even work through them. And I'm gonna give you the answers right now. So pause the video. Okay, hopefully you paused it, and here are the answers. This is all that you have to do. This one is a cool one because you have a negative radicand and your index is even. Because of that, that means you have no real solution. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully you are able to get something good from here. You guys have a great day or afternoon or night, wherever you are. Maybe you live in China and you're watching this video. So yeah, have a good time.